What's up, everybody? We're live for UFC Argentina. We got a good main event, Ponzi versus Magny. And there's some other good fights on here, man. I like it. And from a betting perspective, I got 3 plays. And once again, joining me, Kelton. Kelton, what's up? How do you like this card? And before I, let you talk, we're not going to do a recap because, we have our recap on Kelton's channel at the fight game. And yeah, you can go check that out for the last card. And Kelton, what's up?
Yeah, man, what's going on? So, yeah, if you want to hear us recap the UFC Denver card and talk about that amazing knockout of the year, and possibly even fight of the year, just an amazing fight between Yair Rodriguez and Korean Zombie. If you want to hear us talk about all that, you can go find my channel at MMA Kelton. We do our recaps there. Gonna try to do it every Sunday. But as for this card, man, yeah, I'm excited that the UFC is breaking into new markets as always. Now they're coming down to Argentina, pretty much Brazil's little brother there. And they're headlining it with the best Argentinian fighter of all time, Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's going to be fighting Neil Magny. That's a good scrap. As for the rest of the card, it's mostly filled with a lot of South American fighters, a lot of them unknown. But, there's a few gems on this card, like the Prazeres Fabinski fight. That's an amazing fight. Elkins versus Lamas. I feel like that's going a little under the radar. Good stylistic matchups. It should be a fun night of fights for sure.
Yeah, man, it's on free TV, which is always good. And yeah, man, so let's start off the night, man. So first fight, we got Narimani in the featherweight division versus Anderson dos Santos. And man, honestly, like maybe the line's a little off, but I really do think that Narimani is the better fighter here. He has a good grappling base, trains alpha male, pretty big for the division too. I feel like his fight with Enrique Barzola would have been a more, intriguing fight. Both those guys are really good, I think. I think Barzola would have won, but I think, Armani is a good fighter. Dos Santos is older. I know he's known for, choking out Ricky Simon or Simone, but I just think that Narimani hasn't beat, man. And striking him, striking's close. Dos Santos throws heavy hands. I don't know. He might have the advantage on the feet. Narimani's a good striker too, but he's really good on the ground, good grappling, and I feel like he's just going to take him down a little, man. I don't know if he's going to get a finish, but I got Narimani here getting a 327 decision. But if he can't take down Dos Santos, it could get interesting because he is technical on the feet, but I do think Dos Santos is the heavier hitter, the better, more power, good striker, but I just think he's going to get taken down a little. So I got Narimani here by decision. What about you?
Yeah, this is an interesting one, man. Important to note that this is actually Narimani's third opponent for this card. It was originally Enrique Barzola. That would have been an amazing fight, man. Then it was Sergio Giglio, who is a 21-year-old Peruvian kid. I actually had a play on Narimani against Sergio there. Sergio pulled out. Now he's fighting Anderson dos Santos, and he's an even bigger favorite against Anderson dos Santos than he was against the 21-year-old Peruvian, which is really interesting to me because I think this is a lot tougher fight for Narimani. I'm a Narimani supporter. I actually picked him against Paddy Pimblett. I really wish I would have bet that because Paddy was super overhyped at the time, and he was like minus 200. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for both guys. Anderson, he's making his UFC debut in about 10 days' notice, up a weight class against a tough guy in Narimani, man. But thing is, Anderson dos Santos, he's been around for a long time. He has twice as many fights as Narimani. He for sure has been in there with the better competition. He's went out there and submitted guys like Ricky Simone. He's been in there with Syed Nurmagomedov, who is now in the UFC. Andrew Whitney is a good fighter. This dude's been around for a long time. He's very well-rounded. I actually think he holds a striking advantage here. I think he's going to be a lot faster on the feet. He's given up some size, but he's going to have a speed advantage on the feet. So I like Anderson dos Santos to outstrike Narimani on the feet. Probably won't knock him out. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Narimani has a very good chin. As for the grappling, I feel like Anderson dos Santos probably has the better BJJ, but the thing is, Narimani, he's a lot bigger, he's a lot stronger, and dos Santos, especially on 10 days' notice, he probably won't stuff the takedowns, and Narimani will probably ride out at least 2 of the 3 rounds top control. So it might not be the most exciting fight, but most likely Narimani wins a decision here. In my opinion, I'll say 29-28 Narimani unanimous decision. But out of all the really big underdogs on this card, if you're looking for DK punts, I mean, we're always forced to pick these big underdogs for our DK lineups. And for big underdogs, I like Anderson Dos Santos, even at with a 10-day short notice. He's a talented guy, and I'd like to see him get definitely a step down after this fight, if he loses, that is, of course. So, yeah, I'll say Narimani decision, but the line's off in my opinion.
What about like the size? Do you think Nad like is a lot bigger? Or do you think it's pretty close?
I think he's a lot thicker for sure, and I think he's going to be a lot stronger in the grappling exchanges, which is really key because he's most likely going to get top control. And Dos Santos, he's no slouch of a grappler, but I don't know if he's going to be able to reverse Narimani.
All right, man, call the next one.
So next fight of the night, if I have the order correctly, we got Jesus Pinedo minus 195 taking on Devin Powell plus 168. I wasn't that impressed with Pinedo, to be honest, on tape. Like I mean, for what is he, 22-year-old guy? I mean, yeah, he's definitely still green, but you can see the talent for sure. I get where some people are coming. I don't want to talk about this fight too much because basically I think it's Devin Powell, he's a tough guy for sure, but let's be honest, he's kind of a jobber. So in my opinion, this is kind of like a jobber versus a green undeveloped fighter. So it's just a matter of, is this green undeveloped fighter progressed enough to where he can beat this guy, or is Devin Powell's toughness going to come through probably in the later rounds? I don't know, man. I tend to think the line's probably lined right. It's probably lined right. I think Pinedo's definitely got him beat on the feet. I feel like he should have no problem outstriking him. Powell's never been knocked out. He's got a pretty good chin. So I think the most likely thing to happen here is Pinedo to outstrike Powell en route to a decision. I'll say Powell hangs in there, and he's the fresher guy, the more experienced guy in the third round, and he gets that third round. But I'll say Pinedo outstrikes him in the first two to a 29-28 decision, but it's a big pass for me.
Yeah, man, it's one of those weird fights. It's a close fight, Pinedo's a featherweight, so he's definitely, going to be smaller. Devin Powell, I'm not going to say he's a big lightweight, but he's definitely going to be the bigger guy out there. He's kind of a jobber, but he's tough, man. He has a really good chin, hard for days, good cardio, trains out of Joe Lozan's camp. But one thing I like about him is that he has a really good kick to the body, man. I mean, you saw that in his last fight versus a jobber, obviously, in Herrera. His striking's, not the best, and he has pretty good jiu-jitsu. Pinedo, man, he's just kind of like a brawler, and I wasn't impressed with him, to be honest, man. I think the line should be more to a pick 'em. I feel like maybe Devin Powell should be, maybe minus 130, and then Pinedo minus 110. But I'm going to go with experience here, man. I know Devin Powell isn't, he's probably one of the worst fighters in the division, but I just don't think Pinedo's that good either, man. So I'm going to have to go with experience. And I got Devin Powell. Is he going to get a finish? I don't know. I mean, he could definitely finish him with that kick, but I think he's going to win a decision. I got him by a split decision here. So next fight, we got another, a lot of these fights so far, man. I mean, besides the first one, the last two are just kind of like jobber fights. We got Loreno Staropoli versus Hector Aldana. And a lot of people, man, on Twitter are betting Aldana here, man. I don't think he's that good. Obviously, Sarapoli's making his debut, and you could say the same thing about him. He obviously is making his debut, but I think this kid's going to win, man. I've been going back and forth, but, I mean, Aldana had a brawl with Keenan Song. Yeah, he won the first round, but between me and you and a lot of people, Keenan Song's not that good. He's definitely one of the worst guys in the division. And I think Sarapulli is the better striker here, man. And Aldana doesn't have a really good chin either. He's sloppy. I'm going to have to go with the newcomer here. I think he's going to go out there and get a finish here, man. I'm not confident in betting him. I know he's probably going to hit plus money pretty soon, or maybe he is right now. But I just don't think Aldana's good, man, at all. And I don't think Sarapulli is, going to be a top 20, top 25, top 30 guy either. I think they're both, not that good, but I think he has what it takes to beat Aldana. So I got the Sarapulli here by a knockout. What about you?
Yeah, this is a really interesting fight, man. So I saw on Bet MMA that around 20 or 25 people have taken that shot on Hector Aldana. If you did it at plus 200 or more, I definitely get that for sure, man. Because a guy like Staropoli, a newcomer, he's not exactly as young as the last guy, Pinedo. He's 25. He's a little more developed, but definitely a lot of unknowns for sure. He hasn't really had to go through a whole lot of adversity based on his opponents are not the very best, but it's very interesting. He actually opened. What did he open? He opened a -320 favorite, which is very wide, very wide for sure. So if you took that shot on Aldana at +200 or more, I do get that. But honestly, man, going into this fight, Hector Aldana is very close to the top of my fade list. So I was definitely eager to look into this Staropoli guy, and he's got fast hands. He's a good striker. From what I've seen on the mat, usually he's like the bigger and fresher guy in the mat. So I haven't really seen him grapple with the best of guys, but it seems serviceable there for sure. It's funny actually looking into the tape on Hector Aldana. I remember him actually being a little bit better wrestler than he actually is, but his wrestling really, like, he caught Kenan Song, and like, I don't want to say lucky, but Kenan Song pretty much handed him those takedowns in my opinion. And then I didn't remember. I thought Hector Aldana had quite terrible boxing, but it was a little bit better than I thought. He's got some hands, especially early when he's still fresh. But the thing is here, man, what came out to me the most is how fresh each guy was going into the second round in their last few fights. I believe that Staropoli has a lot better gas tank here, and I don't know, man. I think once it gets into those later rounds, he's going to take over. I think early, especially with the UFC experience, Hector might take the first, but I'm going to go with Staropoli to win the second round, probably win the third round en route to a 29-28 decision, and knockout wouldn't surprise me at all, man. So, yeah, I don't know. If it gets to plus money, I told myself I wasn't going to have any more bets on this card, but if it gets to plus money, that's interesting, because plus money on a guy that I want to fade as badly as Hector Aldana, it's all about the spot, man, and even with a newcomer, plus money sounds good to me, so I'm going to go with Staropoli, 29-28 decision.
All right, man. Call the next one.
So moving on to the next fight, a line I think might be another line I think might be a little too wide. We got Humberto Bandenay -260 taking on Austin Arnett +220. Two strikers here. This should probably be a really good fight. I'm interested. What's the doesn't go the distances? -255. So this is definitely one of the main fights I would highly suggest you target on DraftKings. I'm probably gonna have Arnett in like 30 to 40% of my lineups, and I'm gonna have Bandenay in like 20% of my lineups, just because I feel like whoever wins this fight, they're probably gonna knock the other guy out. Just being honest here, and I feel like Humberto, he's a little more explosive, athletic, bigger, but I think Arnett might be the more technical guy, to be honest. And I feel like I could see him countering man, I have such trouble saying this dude's last name, but Humberto. I feel like Humberto just asked to be countered a lot. Now, Austin Arnett is no Mowgli Benitez by any means, and I guess that's why I see him as a underdog. He probably should be the underdog, so I'm going to pick Humberto to get the W in South America here. But Austin Arnett, he's another DK punt that I would suggest for sure, because if he wins, it's probably going to be a nice counter knockout. If Humberto wins, he's probably going to be knocking on Arnett, because let's be honest, Arnett isn't that great of a fighter. So, and another thing, I think Humberto has suspect takedown defense, but he doesn't really have to worry about that with Arnett here, most likely. So, yeah, I'll take Humberto, but I'm not confident. I think the line's a little wide.
Yeah, this is another one of those fights, man. I don't think both guys are that good. You know, Austin Arnett could definitely be one of the worst guys in the division. You could say the same thing about Bandenay too. I mean, I don't think he's that impressive. You know, he has good striking, but he just got knocked out. Where's his chin at? Arnett, got knocked out against Sandhagen, but that was more of like a lot of damage, a TKO. I think he hurt him in the body, yeah. But I think Arnett actually has a big jiu-jitsu advantage here. He has a lot of wins by sub. I don't know if he's going to take him down, but maybe Bandenay takes him down, then Arnett catches him with the sub. On the feet, I think it's close. I do think Arnett's more technical, and I think Arnett, has good cardio. I think he has the better chin. He's more tough. But Bandenay, he's pretty explosive and athletic. He's probably the more athletic guy. Arnett gets hit a lot too. But yeah, man, I'm going to go back and forth, but I'm going to go with the dog, man. I'm going to go with Austin Arnett. He's going to get his first UFC win. He's 0-3 in UFC. To be honest, his last fight against Dawadu, I know it's 30-27, but it was pretty close. Like, I feel like it could have been like, it was like one of those, I don't know, like, I know like he lost every round, but I think it was like a close like fight though. Even though it's 30-27, I don't agree with that. So, but yeah, I got Austin Arnett getting the upset. I think he's going to get a sub. I think he's going to catch him in the sub. So, next fight, we got Alexander Pantoja versus Oka Sasaki. And I'll let you talk about this one first because you have a big fight.
Yeah, man, this is my biggest straight bet of all time. I have 10 units on Alexandre Pantoja. I had 5 of it on minus 300, 5 units of that on minus 310. So 10 units at minus 305 odds. Man, so where do I start with this one? He's firstly, stylistically, I personally believe he's better than Ulka Sasaki everywhere. When I try to think of Ulka Sasaki's advantages in this fight, he's always going to have this advantage at any flyweight. Any flyweight's fight is his size for sure. Probably, I believe, the tallest flyweight in the division. It makes him a tricky guy to fight. He's a hard guy to get to look good against. Even what's his name, Wilson Hayes. He had trouble against Ulka Sasaki in the third round there. But looking at that fight against Jussier Formiga, like the first. Well, Wilson Hayes is a pretty legit jiu-jitsu guy, but I think Wilson Hayes has seen better days. He's pretty high up there in fight years. He's been around for a long time. First time he fought a guy in his prime that has some serious jiu-jitsu, Jussier Formiga, he was able to go out there and completely outclass him on the mat. And I don't know if Pantoja is Formiga's level of grappling, but I think he's pretty damn close to it. He's a very, very legit grappler, and I think he has Sasaki beat there, but see, I don't even know if it's going to go there, man. I don't know if either guy's going to go for a takedown because I feel like each guy thinks that they're better on the feet. I feel like Ulka probably thinks he can outstrike Pantoja. Pantoja probably feels like he can outstrike Sasaki. And I saw a lot of improvement in Pantoja's boxing in that fight against Brandon Moreno. I know Brandon Moreno kind of likes to leave himself out there to get hit a lot, and you know that they actually fought once before, so it could just be that Pantoja has his number, but I don't know, man. Pantoja is he's a really good fighter, man. He has really good fight IQ. He's probably not the most explosive athletic guy in the division, but he's a really, really crafty dude. And I don't know if he's earned vet status at this point, but he definitely is very experienced. He's been there. He's been in there with very good guys. Looking at his losses, he lost to Hero on Tough, and he lost to Dustin Ortiz, and those guys kind of just wrestled him out a little bit. The Hero fight was weird because tough fights are always weird. That was Pantoja's third fight in like however long it is to film it. That was like his third fight in 2 or 3 weeks. So we get weird results on the Ultimate Fighter all the time. So I don't hold that Hero loss too much against him. And then Dustin Ortiz, man, Dustin Ortiz, I'm going to be really sad if Dustin Ortiz gets cut from the UFC because that guy's a really, really good fighter. And not only that, that fight against Ortiz was very, very close. I know it said a unanimous decision, but I don't know. It could. I think it probably could have gone either way. It was a really good fight. So honestly, man, on the feet, Pantoja, I think he's probably quicker. He's improved his boxing. I don't know. Sasaki, he has that length, but like Stefan Struve, those guys have their length, but they don't really know how to use it all that well. Like if Sasaki had a jab, he could be a motherfucker on the feet just because of how big he is. But fact of the matter is, Sasaki only has won his UFC fights by rear naked choke. All of his UFC victories have come by way of rear naked choke, and I do not see that happening to Pantoja here. Pantoja, obviously, he's never been submitted. One of the best grapplers in the division. This is a nightmare matchup for Ulka Sasaki, man. So I think that warrants my my big bet on him. So I'll say Pantoja gets it done. I'll say he subs Sasaki. I'll say second round rear naked choke.
Yeah, so before I do my breakdown, just saw on Twitter right now that looks like Conor McGregor is fighting Cowboy Cerrone. So that's a very good fight. I actually was expecting it because Justin's fighting Pettis, it looks like. But wow, just breaking news, that's crazy. But
Wow.
I know that's crazy, man. But
I called that. I called that on the recap show.
You did, man. Two of my favorite fighters fight each other. That's crazy. I got Conor McGregor, but that's pre-tape. So, anyways, you said everything. You know that relevant, honestly, man. I think Sasaki, you can't ever count him out because he's really a big guy. He's really good on the ground. You know, he takes the back really well. Good guillotine, but Pantoja's probably better everywhere. You know, he's definitely the better striker. Has good cardio. Had a close fight, Dustin Ortiz, stay chopping. He has really good pressure. That's one thing I like about Pantoja. He's definitely one of the best guys in the division. I don't think they'll cut him. He'll probably go to 135. He's pretty big too. And Sasaki, he gets finished, quite a bit. A lot of his losses. I think he has a good chin. He gets hit a lot, but his striking is definitely improved. But I don't think it's better than Pantoja's. But hey, if he takes Pantoja's back, man, I mean, it's going to be, he could get a sub. I don't know if he's going to. I know he took Wilson Hayes' back, but I just, my thing is you can't really count him out. But I do think Pantoja's going to get the win. I don't think he's going to get a finish. I think he's going to win a back and forth decision, probably 29-28. But yeah, man. So next fight, we got Michel Prazeres versus Bartosz Fabinski. And my first play of the night, I kind of botched all my plays, by the way, on this card, which is kind of funny because the last two cards, my plays were like my lines were good. But yeah, I got 4 units on Prazeres at -210. Now he's -190. I wasn't expecting it to get better, but hey, a lot of people are betting Fabinski. Honestly, man, I faded Prazeres last fight with Cummings. And I realized after that fight that I can't fade this guy anymore. This guy, that's the only time I ever faded, but this guy is really good. I think he's definitely going to be a top 10 guy in the future in the making. He is, a big guy for the weight class. He's super strong. He's short, but he's so strong, so stocky. Very good jiu-jitsu. He has good striking too. I know he's only had 1 KO, but he definitely has pretty good striking. But a lot of his wins are by sub. Bartos just has, in my opinion, wants nothing to do with him on the feet. I think his striking is not good. It's really robotic. He basically just tries to strike with you and back you up against the fence and take you down. I think if he takes down Prazeres, man, Prazeres could definitely, scramble and, get on top. I don't think Fabinski's going to be able to just lay on him. I mean, if you saw Kevin Lee take down Prazeres, he got back up every time. I think there could be some good transitions on the ground, but I think Prazeres is definitely going to get a submission here, man. I know Fabinski's been tapped out before. And yeah, Prazeres didn't have 1 KO. I think Prazeres could definitely hurt him on the feet, though. You saw Emil Mech, hurt him on the feet. Emil Mech's is terrible fight IQ. He's not a good fighter, man. I think Michel Prazeres is way better than Mech. And I just think it's a bad matchup for Fabinski. Sorry, like my tongue was like, I couldn't even talk. But yeah, I just think Fabinski's in hell, man. I think he's not going to win this fight. I think Prazeres is, better everywhere, in my opinion. And yeah, man, his cardio's improved too. I mean, he does get tired in the third round, but Fabinski gets tired too, man. And he's going to be working for that takedown against Prazeres. He's not going to be able to get it, I don't think. If he does, he's going to get right back up, or they're going to have some good transition on the ground. But my official prediction is going to be Michel Prazeres by second round submission. And I really think this guy could definitely make some waves in the division. So yeah, what about you?
Bartosz the Butcher. That's one of my favorite nicknames in MMA right now. And I'm glad to have this guy back. He was away for a long time. He's a serious grinder, man. He's got some really strong wrestling, and he embraces that grind. He has no problem holding on to guys. He has no problem writing out a decision. It's a style that bettors look for. Win by any means necessary. Not the most exciting style, but Bartosz the Butcher gets it done. He has a pretty good record, and now in the UFC 3-0. This is a tough matchup for him, though. Honestly, I do think Prazeres is probably the rightful favorite. The real big thing for me here is on the feet. You're right. Bartosz does have pretty robotic striking. If he had a little bit better striking, I actually might think I'd probably be taking the shot on him here. But fact of the matter is, while this fight is on the feet, Prazeres is going to have the advantage. He's the faster guy. He's going to hit a little harder. He might even hurt Fabinski on the feet, but I don't know, man. This is the first time Prazeres has fought a real full-sized 170 guy that has the real strong, grindy wrestling style. Zach Cummings, he has some wrestling in his game, but I don't know, man. He didn't go for a single takedown. Bartosz Fabinski is going to go for takedowns. There's no question about it. Bartosz isn't going to go this whole fight without going for takedowns like Zach unfortunately did, because we both bet Zach there. But man, it's a tough one. I don't know. And Prazeres, he has been taken down in the UFC a lot. I believe he's been taken down somewhere around like 12 times in the UFC. A lot of those by Kevin Lee, Des Green. I think Burns even got him down once. But fact of the matter is, Michel Prazeres he's a winner. He's 25-2. You don't really see records that good in MMA that often. That's a serious one. And even for his age, he's performing well for a 37-year-old. I haven't really seen any signs of slowing down. Being 37, you never know. It could catch up with you at any point. But you're right. Probably stylistically, this is a good matchup for him because he should be comfortable on the feet. He will outstrike Fabinski on the feet. He might even take down Fabinski. Who knows? But
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think he will. I actually think he could take him down.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight. I've had my eye on this fight for a while now, and from a betting perspective, I think if the line keeps getting better on Prazeres, like minus 190 now, I think if it keeps getting a little bit better, he might be the way to go in the betting side. When it comes to DraftKings, though, taking that dog money on Fabinski, if Fabinski wins, it's going to be a wrestling game plan. He's going to score a lot of takedowns. He's probably going to land some ground and pound. He might advance position. I think Fabinski, if he wins, he'll definitely pay off his underdog price on DraftKings. So yeah, from a betting perspective, I think Prazeres might be the way to go, but Fabinski, and another thing for DraftKings on Fabinski, I think if Prazeres wins, it's probably going to be a decision. Most of his wins are by decision. So I think Fabinski, even in a loss, he can hang in there and get like 20, 30 points. Who knows? So I think DraftKings Fabinski's the way to go, but I'm going to pick Miguel Prazeres. I think you cash your bet. I'll say 29-28 unanimous decision.
I like it, man. Let's get it.
So moving on to the next fight of the night, we got Polyana Botelho minus 155 taking on Cynthia Calvillo plus 135. This is a very, very interesting scrap. Me and Justin are actually going head to head here. I believe he has 3 units on Calvillo. I have 3 units on Botelho. I got it at minus 120. She's minus 155 now. Basically, man, I think this is a tough stylistic matchup for Calvillo. Not only is she coming off a 1-year layoff, she's coming off the first loss of her career. I don't want to say Carla Esparza exposed her, but I think it definitely kind of showed us where Calvillo sits at this point. I don't think we're looking at a future champ by any means, and I'm not saying Botelho is either by any means, but man, Botelho for sure. I mean, I don't even have to say it. Look at her Instagram page, and we know what she's up to. We know she's got the right doctor at this point. I think Jose Aldo has showed her his ways over at good old Nova União. She is a jacked girl, man. She's very strong. She hits very hard on the feet. Her striking isn't completely developed. Like, she's not like a masterclass striker. Like, she's no Joanna Jędrzejczyk or Shevchenko by any means, but she hits really hard, and it is getting better every fight. That striking is improving every fight. And then on the ground, I mean, that's going to be her one weak spot, if anything. Not completely developed there as well. And, obviously Calvillo's path to victory here is the takedowns. This is your pure striker versus grappler matchup. And I don't know, man. It's one thing to go out there and take down Amanda Bobby Cooper and take down Pearl Gonzalez, but I don't know. I think it's shown in her last couple fights. Calvillo, she got the win over JoJo. Props to her. That was a good win. I actually bet Calvillo there against JoJo, but it was a tough fight. It was a lot closer than I would have liked. And then Carla, the little 5'2" atom weight, she was able to go in there and outbox Calvillo. Calvillo showed a lot of holes on the feet. So I think as long as this fight stays on the feet, Calvillo's in trouble for sure. I don't know if Botelho is going to go on there and smoke her like some people are saying, but I think she definitely outstrikes her. Calvillo, I don't think she's going to be able to land a takedown, man. I think Botelho, she stuffed all the takedowns from Pearl. She showed composure, man, and she's 2-0 at strawweight. A lot of her, flaws that you can point out and mistakes she's made in the past, a lot of those fights were at 125. She's at the new weight class now, and I think she's a force to be reckoned with. I like Polyana Botelho to win a 30-27 decision here and move on to a top 5, top 6 fight next. Think the world of this girl.
Yeah, man. So now the line's like plus 135 in Calvillo. I got it plus 105. I honestly did not think it was going to get better than that, but hey, I watched that line. So it was kind of funny because pre-tape I actually was going with Botello. It was kind of funny because I'm really high in Calvillo, but pre-tape I was going with Botello. Then after halfway through tape, I DM'd you. I'm like, hey, I think Botello might win this fight. And then after I finished tape, which is kind of funny, I switched my pick. I ended up betting Calvillo. Gonna talk about what you said real quick about the Cara Esparza. I know Tatiana Suarez probably changed her life, but at that moment when they fought, I think Esparza was the 4th or 5th ranked fighter in the world. I think Cara Esparza was definitely one of the best girls in the division. Maybe not now because what Suarez just did to her, but Cara Esparza is a good win. So, it's not a good win, but a very good fight. It was a close fight too. Calvillo took her down the first round, dominated her in that first round. Second and third round were close, but she just tried that outstrike her on the feet, and we saw what happened. Esparza got the nod. I think Calvillo should have went for her takedowns. But anyways, back on the matchup, Botelho is definitely the better striker here. I'm not saying she's not. She's a good striker. She has some power on the feet. But there's people out there on Twitter, man, that are saying some stuff that's like just like irrelevant. They're saying stuff like, "Oh, she's only been taken down one time. She got right back up." I don't know if you guys were watching, like what you guys are watching, but maybe Ferreira took her down multiple times, and that's how she got the win. She grinded her out. Yeah, it was a long time ago. And then Gomez, in her fight, before her debut, took her down a couple times too. And the second time she took her down, she full mounted her. So I don't know why people are saying that she's only been taken down once. So obviously it's a striker versus grappler matchup. And Calvillo doesn't have the best wrestling, but she gets a lot of her takedowns when she catches a kick. She gets a lot of her takedowns by trips. Pro Gonzalez, just kind of just back her against the fence and try to get a takedown. She couldn't get a takedown, but I think Calvillo is definitely a better fighter, and we saw that she beat her. So yeah, Amanda Bobby Cooper, she went out there and that was a very good back tape. But yeah, Cooper's one of the not really on the level Botelho is, but I just think Calvillo, she's a good fighter, man, and yeah, her striking's definitely improved. It's not the best. I think she beat JoJo though. It was a close fight. I think she got the win. And then against as far as like I just mentioned, I think it was a close fight. But yeah, I think as far as did win. But it all comes down to the grappling here. And Padilla does not want to go on the mat with her, man. I mean, Calvillo has so good transitions, very good scrambles. And I don't know if she's going to be able to double leg her. I know she took down Sparza with a double leg. But I think she can definitely catch a kick or even get a trip here. And if she takes her down, man, I think Botelho's in some trouble, man. She's a blue belt. I just don't think that she has what it takes to hang on the mat Calvillo. And I think Calvillo takes her back. It's all she wrote. So I'm going to go Calvillo by submission here. And one thing I want to mention as well is that Botelho, in her debut, she beat Pearl Gonzalez, who I don't think is the best fighter. Obviously, Calvillo and her had a good fight, but Calvillo tapped her out. I just don't think Calvillo's going to go over, try to do what she did. Calvillo's not going to back her up, get the fence, try to get the takedown. I think Calvillo's going to, try to strike her through on the feet and then just either double leg or get a trip or even, catch a kick like I already mentioned. But one thing I want to mention is that, she's only fought twice at, 115. I definitely think if Calvillo makes her work, I think she could definitely gas here, man. And Calvillo's pretty good cardio, man. This is, the best grappler that Calvillo's ever fought by far, in my opinion. And this is definitely a big step up for Botelho, man. I mean, going from Pro Gonzalez to Siri Kondo to Calvillo, I mean, you could say this is the best striker that, Calvillo's fought. But Calvillo fought JoJo, too. And a lot of people are saying that, well, JoJo's a 125, and JoJo's still a good fighter. I mean, But I just think, like I just mentioned, she's the best grappler she's ever fought for sure. So it's going to be a big test here. If Calvillo gets her down, I think that she's going to get the win. If she doesn't, it's going to be, it could get interesting, man, because I do think that Botelho's a better striker. I don't think she's going to knock her out. A lot of people are saying she's going to smoke Calvillo. I don't think so. Calvillo has very good movement. She doesn't get hit that much. And, she has a good chin from all the shots that she's taken, too. I don't think Calvillo's going to get smoked like a lot of people out there are saying. But, yeah, so my official prediction is Calvillo by submission. But if she doesn't get her down, I will be sweating because Botelho is definitely the better striker. Is there anything you want to add?
Nah, we covered it, man. It's going to be a good fight. May the best woman win.
May the best woman win. Yeah, I respect you a lot, and I'm happy that, you, know that this is not, a squash match. It's just irrelevant to me, people on Twitter are just thinking that this is, the easiest money in the world. I don't think it is at all, so. I think it's a close fight. Obviously, you have money on Botelho. You think she's going to win. I got money on Calvillo. We'll see what happens. So, next fight, we got Guido Cannetti versus Marlon Vera. Pretty short breakdown for me. I actually do like Marlon Vera. A lot of people, don't like him. I think he sucks. And I don't think that's the case, man. I do think he's a pretty decent fighter. You saw last fight, it did take him for a while to get going against a can. He still got the knockout. And, I think that he has very good jiu-jitsu. He's a pretty tough guy on the feet. Striking's definitely improved a lot, The John Lineker fight, he actually won the third round versus Lineker. It was pretty impressive. But, yeah, Cannetti's pretty explosive, but I just don't think that, he's getting older. I don't think he has what it takes to beat Marlon Vera. I think Marlon Vera's going to stop him. I think Guido Cannetti might get a takedown. Vera's going to tap him out. So I got Vera by submission. What about you?
Yes, I don't remember, or I don't know if you remember when I told you when we went off air on Sunday that I thought Guido Cannetti might be live.
Yeah, you saw me.
I did. Yeah, I did tape, and I think the line is absolutely warranted for Marlon Vera. He should probably be a very big favorite here. So, yeah, Guido Cannetti, he comes out. He's really explosive in the early rounds. Or I should say probably just the first round. He comes out really hard, man. And, he does have a little bit to offer. He's got decent wrestling. He's got all right hands. He probably has pretty above average power for the division. He's a scrappy little dude. You can't count out the fact that he's fighting in his home country here as well. I'm sure that probably gives him at least a little bit of an advantage. But the thing is, he's technically wise and, fight IQ wise, I'd say. I think Marlon Vera's got him beat all day. I think even if, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, Marlon Vera, he's kind of a slow starter. And that kind of stylistically is polar opposite of Cannetti because he comes out really hard in the beginning. So I'm really interested to see that first round. I definitely am interested in seeing how the beginning of this fight plays out. But I think even in that initial quick burst that Cannetti has, he makes a lot of mistakes in there. And Marlon, he caught Kelleher in the first round with a submission. I could absolutely see Vera finishing him in the first round. I think he could finish him at any point of this fight. So I do think he could catch him in that initial burst. If not, I think later in the rounds, Vera does, he's going to start to get going, and he could even finish him late. He can win a decision here. I like Vera here a lot, man. He's definitely in my top 3 most confident picks of this card, and I think he might be worth the big price on DraftKings. I'm going to have him in a lot of lineups for sure because I do like his chances to finish this fight a lot. And looking at the odds at Vera in the distance, what do we got here? Vera in the distance is -117, but I don't know. Vera by submission is +210. So if you're into props, I really like Marlon Vera by submission at +210. I think that might have something going for it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens here. It's going to be a scrappy fight. It's going to be entertaining either way. But, man, technique-wise, skill-wise, Vera's got Cannetti beat here all day long. So I'll say Vera. I'll say in the middle of the fight somewhere. I'll say second round armbar for Marlon Chito Vera. So moving on to the next fight, we got Cezar Mutanch Fahea, -185, take on an Ian Heinisch, +160. I'll let you start with this one because you got the bet.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I got 3 units on Heinisch at +165. This could definitely be another letdown, fight, just like the one with the letdown spot on that, like Cannon versus Branch. So Bertanti was going to fight Tom Breeze, who's definitely, probably, winner, probably going to be in the top 15. Now he's fighting a guy making his debut, Ian Heinisch, and I think it's a good matchup, man. Ian Heinisch is a good fighter, trains at Factory X, has been around for a long time. Good striking, dude. I mean, heavy hands. Definitely the better striker here. And he has good wrestling too. I mean, he fought, in high school and had won a couple titles. He wrestled in college as well before he dropped out of school. And I think, I like the way he fakes for a takedown and throws his bomb right overhand right. And he also has a good straight left as well. I like Factory X. He's definitely been one of the best camps lately. And Mutanti, been knocked out 4 times. He has a bad chin. Yes, his chin is definitely held up lately. But Ben Bose still hurt him on the feet. 2 fights ago, Nate Marquardt dropped him. That was a close fight as well. I mean, obviously, I think Mutanti did win the fight because he took him down in the 3rd round. But, he got dropped in the end of the 2nd round. They were brawling a little bit. If Heinisch makes this a brawl, I mean, Mutanti's going to get knocked out, in my opinion. Heinisch is an aggressive fighter. He's super powerful. I think he definitely has more power. I think he has the better striking. He needs to get in his face and be aggressive. I don't think Heinisch is going to go for a takedown. That's how he lost to Marcus Perez. He took him down, and Marcus Perez choked him out off his back. It was like a weird-ass arm triangle choke. So my only worry here, man, is if he gets taken down because Mutanti does have a good arm triangle. He does have, a good back take. I mean, that's his game. He tries to take you down and choke you out. That's how he beat Carl Robertson. But I just don't think he's going to be able to take him down. I know that, Heinisch has been, his back taken a couple on Contender Series. Justin Sumter took his back, but he got right out of it and then landed some huge elbows. And Daniel Madrid also took his back as well, but he got out of it as well. I mean, he took Elias's back as well, and Elias got out of it. I just think, if he keeps on the feet, he's going to get the win. He's going to get the knockout. If he gets taken down, just to get interesting. But even if Heinisch gets on top, I mean, I think he can definitely land some big elbows. But my read here is he's going to keep it on the feet, use that striking, use that pressure, and get a knockout here, man. So I got Ian Heinisch by a 1st round knockout. He needs to make a brawl and keep it on the feet because I don't think Cezar Ferreira wants anything to be on the feet. So, what about you?
Yeah, so this is like the only fight on the card I haven't finished really looking into it as much as I want to, so I won't say too much. I will say I think you're on the right side. I think it's a dog or pass situation. Cezar is a really talented guy, though. Like, he's huge. He's a great grappler. If he gets Heinisch down here, man, I mean, it's probably not going to be good for him, man, but You're right. This could be a letdown spot for him. These guys, they come out of nowhere on short notice, and they make shit happen. And Ian Heinisch is definitely a very talented individual. He's a great boxer. He has big power. I've had my eye on him for a little while now. The Marcus Perez loss, that was a little concerning, but I'll give him a pass on it just because that's his first L. I like to give guys passes on their first losses unless it's just something completely embarrassing. I don't think that was completely embarrassing by any means. He's a talented guy, and Cezar, you cannot deny that. Although it hasn't been recently, the dude really had like bad chin problems. Like he was getting dropped by shots that didn't look that hard. He was getting knocked out by Sam Alvey. I mean, man, oh man. And one of the biggest sweats I ever had was I had in like a big 5-unit parlay, I had one of my legs was not Nate Marquardt wins the decision against Cezar. And obviously that was a very, very close fight. Cezar won a split there. So I was sweating so hard for that decision. So glad it went his way. And I do think he deserved the decision there against Nate Marquardt, but a little concerning. I mean, I know Nate's a vet, and he's a very tough, scrappy dude who has all the tricks in the world by a lot. But I mean, I don't know. Cezar probably should have went out there and smoked him. But props to him in his last fight for sure against Carl Roberson. Carl Roberson, obviously, he's a striker. That's not where he wanted the fight to go. Of course, is the ground. Cezar did his thing there, and I don't know, man. I definitely like this fight to not go to the decision as well, because I feel like if it hits the mat, Ian is going to be probably tapping or napping, and then if it stays on the feet, I feel like I like Ian's chances a lot to knock out Cezar. So this fight to not go to decision, yeah, it's steamed. It's minus 265. So I think this is definitely another fight that you got to target big on DraftKings for sure. So again, I'll probably have like 20 to 30% Heinisch and 20% Cezar. So I'm gonna have a lot of focus on this fight for DraftKings. So I like your bet, man. I think it's a dogger pass situation. I wish you the best of luck there. So moving on to the next fight, we got Khalil. Go ahead.
I want to add one thing. Sorry. I do think that Heinisch has better wrestling than Carl Roberson as well. Because Roberson is more of a striker, man. I mean, he does have a good takedown defense. Obviously, he went out there and tapped out there and sued. But I think at the end of the day, I think Heinisch has the better grappling and wrestling and takedown defense than Carl Roberson.
That's fair.
So yeah.
So moving on. So no problem, man. So moving on to the next fight, we got Khalil Rountree minus 230 taking on Johnny Walker plus 190. I'll give you props on the last time he fought. Everyone was on Gokhan Saki. Gokhan Saki got knocked out in the first round. You were on Khalil. You cashed nicely there. Yeah, man. Khalil's a good striker. He has big power. He unfortunately does have a lot of flaws, but I don't want to talk about this fight too much. I'll let you mostly cover it just because I know Khalil's your boy. You're high on that guy. But basically, man, Johnny Walker is coming in here to get knocked out most likely. This guy might even have a little bit more embarrassing of a career than Khalil Rountree. And I know you like Khalil, but for sure the guy has I don't know. We haven't seen him on the ground in a while, but it definitely hasn't looked good in the past. But like I said, he probably doesn't have to worry about shit here, man. He's probably there's probably a little value on him at minus 230. I'd probably say there's probably value on him. I mean, personally, I don't want to trust a guy like Khalil, but he should probably be an even bigger favorite. So I'll go Khalil Rountree first round knockout.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have one more play, and I think I'm gonna hit Khalil in the distance. Right now I think it's like minus 130. I'm gonna see like where it goes, but if you know me, obviously I'm pretty big on Khalil. I know that his takedown defense, his grappling is not the best, and all this, and yeah, he lost to that guy that a lot of people said was a welterweight, but that guy was on he popped for roids as well. He took a lot of those big shots, but anyways, Khalil's looked good lately, man. He definitely, he changed camps. Now he's training at Black House, and he's to train with Kenny Roberson, one of the best wrestling coaches out there. And he gets a lot of big bodies over there as well. Kevin Casey's a good grappler as well, training with him. And you saw his last fight. I mean, I don't know why. Sasaki was a huge favorite. Not a huge favorite. Sasaki was the favorite. And Khalil knocked him out pretty fast. I will say that when he fights a grappler, I'll be sweating. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be playing him or anything. It's going to be, that's his weakness for sure. But Johnny Walker's a brawler, man, and he's not really a good brawler. The guy's been knocked out multiple times. He's a flopper. He had a 3-round war with Frankenstein, and Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
know Jordan Johnson, went 3 rounds, but he dominated every round. I mean, this is a 3-round war. Um, could he take down Khalil? I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe, but I think Khalil, I don't think Khalil could get subbed if he does. Damn, I mean, Khalil could never. I mean, I don't know, that would be the bottom of Khalil if he does that. But I don't think he will. I think they're gonna be slugging down the feet. I think Khalil's is so much more faster, so much more athletic, heavy, heavy right hand, heavy left hand, so explosive, man. I think Khalil's just gonna cast that chin. Khalil has a good chin as well. He's definitely, taking some punishment, but I really think that Johnny Walker's gonna get wobbled here, man, and get taken out. I don't think Johnny Walker's the guy to beat Khalil right now, So I got Khalil with a first round knockout, and I think Johnny Walker's like really aggressive and he tries to come forward. That's definitely gonna play in Khalil's game. But yeah, man, I might be playing Khalil. So
Can I add one thing?
yeah,
I think when it comes to Khalil's takedown defense, I feel like he made strides around the time of the Daniel Jolly fight. I know it's Daniel Jolly, but at least in that fight, he showed that he knows exactly what to do, and he defended. I know it was only one takedown, and it was a quick fight, but I feel like he made strides when it came to his takedown defense around that time. He showed that he has what it takes to stuff a takedown from a jobber, and that's what Johnny Walker is. So yeah, Khalil's gonna win.
I mean, Mikel took him down, but then again, like a lot of people are saying Mikel's so small, Mikel popped.
That's a no contest, man.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, once Khalil fights a guy like good wrestling, it's going to be tough. But I just don't think Johnny Walker has what it takes to beat him. So next fight, we got one of the closest fights tonight. We got Ricardo Lamas versus Darren Elkins. I know where you're going in this fight. I've been going back and forth. I do think Ricardo Lamas is a good fighter. He's definitely a top 10 guy. He's definitely on the decline. You can say the same thing about Darren Elkins. Damn, this is a weird matchup because Ricardo Lamas probably has the better striking. He probably has the better wrestling. But you can never count out Darren Elkins, the dog. I mean, last fight, obviously, Volkanovski showed that, he's definitely going to be a top 5 guy, and he's definitely a very good fighter. This isn't Volkanovski, though. Volkanovski is on the way up. Lamas is on the way out. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to be brawling, and Lamas might be able to take Elkins down. Elkins could back up. I think Elkins has a better cardio. That's one thing he has in this advantage for sure. He has more heart, and I think he has a better chin too. I think Lamas is definitely his chin has definitely been going on the decline, and obviously Elkins isn't a striker, but Lamas is 0-3 versus Team Alpha Male, so that's only going to boost I think his confidence and. I think what's going to happen, man, is Lamas going to be winning the first 2 rounds, and then in the third round, just like the Bektik fight, maybe not a comeback, like not a crazy comeback. Like I think he'll win the first 2 rounds. It would be close, but I think Darren Elkins is gonna hurt him on the feet, man, and he's gonna get him out of there, man, and he's gonna drop him, and then kind of just land some brutal elbows on the bottom. So I got Darren Elkins, man, with the TKO in the third round. What about you?
Man, it's so interesting that you pick Elkins by knockout because I was going to say a prop I really think has value in this fight. It's crazy the line to me because I think knockout is Darren Elkins' most likely victory. Elkins by knockout is plus 1,035. That's an absolutely crazy prop to me because that's his most likely path to victory because Lamas has chin problems, man, and especially this late into his career, it's not getting any better at this point. And I know he didn't get knocked out last time against Mirsad Bektic, but I mean, speaking of Mirsad Bektic, if you want to give an example of Darren Elkins being able to go out there and get a knockout over a guy that's visibly more tired than him, it's that fight against Mirsad Bektic. I think if this fight goes into the later rounds, I think he's going to be pushing a much faster pace than Ricardo Lamas, and he might start to get to be too much for him, man. So I think, and even crazier, I don't have the odds for 5 dimes. It's usually just like European books that do crazy props like this, but even crazier prop if you want to go for even bigger odds, Elkins by knockout in round 3. Because I think, obviously he's such great cardio, and Lamas doesn't have bad cardio by any means, but I mean, this might even be the first time he's outmatched cardio-wise. I mean, if anything, Lamas has pretty good cardio as well. He was still fresh in that third round against Max Holloway. He looked great in the 5th round against Jose Aldo. Lamas has pretty good cardio as well, but he's outmatched with the cardio. So if it gets to that third round, man, that could be sketchy. Elkins could be pushing a pace on him, and who knows? I mean, that chin is chinny, but the thing is, when they're fresh, Ricardo Lamas, you're right. He's the better wrestler and he's the better striker. And, Elkins, he has a good chin, obviously. I mean, he's the toughest fucking dude in the world. So I don't think Lamas is going to go out there and get him out of there like he did Jason Knight by any means. So I do like the chances of Elkins getting to that third round, but the most likely outcome to this fight, I think Ricardo Lamas outstrikes him in the first and second round. Then Elkins, I'll say, wins the third round. So I think the most likely outcome is Ricardo Lamas 29-28 decision. So I'll pick Lamas, but Elkins is live.
Yeah, 100% he's live. So, yeah, man, call that main event.
So main event of the evening, we got Santiago Ponzinibbio, now minus 280, taking on Neil Magny, plus 240. Some money has actually come in on Neil Magny as a big underdog here. I think it should be around minus 300 for Santiago Ponzinibbio. Obviously, this I don't want to say this event is set up for him, but I mean, if I were to tell you a year ago, oh, the UFC is going to Argentina, who should be the main event? I mean, the obvious choice is Santiago Ponzinibbio. Obviously, I mean, he is the best fighter from the country of Argentina. So I don't know. I think the UFC, I think they wanted to give him a favorable matchup for him here, man. And going and watching these guys fights, it is stylistically a favorable matchup for Santiago Ponzinibbio. Neil Magny he's really open out there to get hit. Neil Magny, props to him. I cashed on him two times recently. I cashed on him against Johnny Hendricks. Even though I'm going to be honest, I thought that fight totally could have went to Johnny Hendricks. He held Neil Magny down there for a while. That fight could have gone either way, but I cashed on him thankfully. But then again, that's a completely done Johnny Hendricks, a post USADA Johnny Hendricks, yada yada. And then Carlos Condit, who is his second most recent victory. Carlos Condit is a fighter who is very shot at this point. And then his most recent victory, maybe the worst fighter in the UFC, if he's even still in the UFC at this point, Craig White. He finished Craig White in the third round. So really, man, I mean, and even going back to his win before Johnny Hendricks, it was Hector Lombard, a guy who is definitely close to the end at this point as well. So looking at Neil Magny's last 4 wins, I mean, he's going out there beating Hector Lombard, Johnny Hendricks, Carlos Condit, and Craig White. 3 very over-the-hill fighters, and then a very bad fighter. I mean, he has a win against Kelvin Gastelum. I'd really say that's probably Neil Magny's only big win, looking at his very, very long record. I mean, props to him for going on that gigantic 7-win streak. What was that, around 2014? He beat some decent guys like Alex Garcia, but I don't know, man. Santiago Ponzinibbio is on another level, in my opinion. And looking back at Neil Magny's fight against another explosive striker, Lorenz Larkin, I mean, I'm sure we all remember how that fight went down. Very, very most memorable performance in the UFC, for me in recent years, just because of how bad he outclassed Magny. I mean, talk about one of the biggest downfalls with Lorenz Larkin. Lorenz Larkin was looking like a dude to be reckoned with for a couple years there, and then he came to Bellator. I don't know what happened to him, but Lorenz Larkin, he finished both these dudes. He finished Ponzinibbio and Neil Magny, but oh man, this is a rough one for Magny. He has to get into the later rounds, of course. His cardio is definitely his best tool, and if it gets there, who knows? Ponzinibbio, I wouldn't say has bad cardio by any means. So if it gets there, I mean, I wouldn't rule him out to be a visibly more gassed guy. So yeah, I like Ponzi's chances to most likely finish him early, but even if it does go to the later rounds, I think Magny has the chance to pick a round up, maybe even 2, but I think Ponzi can hold on, man. This is a top 10 guy for sure. He's a serious dude. He's getting better too. That's the thing. Ponzinibbio, he's been around for a while, but you can tell, I mean, even he's put on size a little bit. Ponzinibbio is a force to be reckoned with, and he probably gets, I'll say, a first round knockout.
Yeah, man. So I like Ponzi here too. I do think he's going to get the finish. I do like Ponzi. I think he's one of the best strikers of the division. But I have my problems with him. Ponzi. I guess you could say he's kind of a slow starter. I mean, Gunner was definitely beating him, kind of picking him apart until he knocked him out. And then even Court McGee, man, was tagging him up until he knocked him out. And then, the fight with Mike Perry was kind of like, it was ugly, it was a back and forth war. Ponzi definitely won by taking him down. Ponzi hurt him as well. Neil Magny, though, man, he has a good chin. You can say that Ponzi, but they both have good chins. Ponzi's been put out a couple times. Magny's been put out before as well. I just think Ponzi's the faster guy here. But if Magny can definitely take this fight in the later rounds, I think he's in the, he can definitely win. But Magny just, he has awkward power as well. He has pretty decent striking. He fights really long, good jab. But I really do think Ponzi's going to get a first, second round finish here. But if he doesn't, it could get interesting because Neil Magny, is notorious for getting a lot of comeback wins. But the line, might be a little off. I mean, maybe Ponzi minus 200, Magny plus 160. But it's either going to go two ways: Ponzi early, Magny late. So and yeah, I mean, Ponzi has pretty good takedown defense as well. But I mean, I don't know, man. Magny has good wrestling, dude. And I know Magny, took down Condit at will, but Condit's on the decline for sure. Ponzi had a pretty close fight with Taleb, close fight with Perry. But it's all about the matchup, man. I just think that he's going to be aggressive and try to get in Magny's face, back him up against the fence. And Magny doesn't really like to get hit either. Right? He is a tough guy, but we've seen him drop before. We've seen him get knocked out before. The same thing you can say about Ponzi, but I don't think Magny's going to knock out Ponzi once it's late. So my official prediction will be Ponzi by a first round knockout. And yeah, you got to target this fight for DraftKings for sure. So yeah, man, we'll both recap our plays one more time. So I have 3 units on Calvillo, I have 3 units on Heinisch, and I have 4 units on Prazeres. Maybe one more play. Check out my Twitter if I do it at ThrowPicks. And yeah, man, what about you?
So I really wanted to touch on Santiago Ponzinibbio's record, but I kind of forgot. I think it's really impressive, man. So we got 26-3. That's like a Prazeres type record. That's a really good record. His first loss, Leandro Marfa, in Brazil. That was his first L. I'll kind of give him a pass on that. LaFleur, that was like his first big wrestling test. So, I mean, I don't think we really have to worry about that too much here. LaFleur, especially at the time, LaFleur was a dude to be reckoned with. And then Lorenz Larkin. So his only 2 UFC losses are to like 2 super specialists, like a super elite wrestler and then a super elite striker. But then since that Lorenz Larkin loss, he went on a 6-fight win streak. And not only that, he was the first man to knock out Court McGee. And then he was also the first man to knock out Gunnar Nelson. So I'm really impressed with the body of work from Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Well, one thing I got to mention was, Ponzi's a super dirty fighter, man. Like that's one thing I feel like that plays in his advantage. Like he wins a lot of fights because he's super dirty, and I feel like he gets that eye poke every single fight.
The Yoel Romero factor.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of hard to fade Ponzi, man. I mean, he does have some, some flaws, You could say he's a little chinny. I don't know. I think he has a good chin. He's been put out a couple times against faster guys. I don't think Magny's faster than Ponzi, but his striking's really good. He's super technical and he throws heat, man. And he has good pressure style. But yeah, if it goes late, man, I think Magny's gonna win. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and as for my bets, I just have the 2 right now. I'm probably just gonna stick with the 2, but we'll see what happens. Staropoli, if Staropoli gets to a plus money, we might be in some talks. But I'm probably just gonna stick with the 2. I have the big 10-unit play on Pantoja at minus 305, and then I have 3 units on Pauliana Botelho at minus 120.
Yeah, man. So before we go, I haven't really watched that much tape for next week yet. I'm probably gonna start, tonight. But damn, some of these odds, man, are kind of head scratching. I actually like Lauren Mueller like a lot. I think that I bet on her last fight against Dobson, and I cashed, and I think that she's gonna have a good future. And she's like minus 600, something like that, which is crazy because I was gonna be looking the better here, but damn, I'm not gonna be playing her at the current line minus 600. So, but yeah, man. So we'll be back next week. Go ahead.
I haven't looked into the fight yet. This girl that Lauren Mueller is fighting, she's the one that just lost to Gina Mazzani, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The line's warranted, bro. The line is definitely warranted.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mueller in the distance, though. I don't know. Because Mueller has pretty damn good striking. But we'll see what happens. There's a couple of guys that people that I like pre-tape. Kevin Holland, I wish his line was a little better too. I like Kevin Holland, but I'm not going to play him at -400. So
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air.
all right, guys, we'll be back next week and check out our Twitters at MMA Kelton and Bro Picks, and I hope everyone catches their best, man. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Later, guys.